everyone, it's Ellie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So every single day I get questions from loads of people on how to be a YouTuber. How do you do YouTube? How do you edit? How do you film? What camera do you have? Do you make money? All of these different questions that I always get about YouTube and about Instagram and TikTok and everything like that in general. So I decided that today I would answer your questions with this video. So I am literally going to give you a full rundown of everything YouTube related, the whole process of making a YouTube video and how I do it. And obviously it's a lot of information to get in one video, so I'm going to like condense it and try and stick to the key points as much as possible. But with all that being said, after watching this video, you should be a fully trained YouTuber, or something like that anyway. So without any further ado, let's get started. And the first thing I want to talk about is planning your videos. So with any video you do, you're going to want to plan it out, and there's barely any videos that don't take planning. So like a vlog, maybe you could get away with not really planning that, or maybe like a Q&A, all you have to do is get the questions ready, but other than that, you pretty much need to plan most of your videos. So how much I plan the video varies so much depending on the video, depending on like if I've got a really big idea for the video, or if it's just like a trend I'm following, that would be a little bit easier. But I'm going to show you how I plan my videos. So this is my great big YouTube folder, and this has all of my planning in it, all of things like my goals, tracking how many followers I'm gaining or which videos are doing the best. I literally keep it all organized in this big fat folder. And this is the first page, which is a content schedule of when I'm going to upload and stuff, but I didn't really stick to that, so may as well change it. So this is an example of a video that I really did a lot of planning for. As you can see, like there's a lot of planning. So this was my 24 hours using Primark's products video. And as you can see, there's a lot. So I guess here are the things that you need to plan. First off, you need to plan when you're going to film. So this could be like a certain time or all day, if it's like a 24-hour challenge like this. And you have to make sure you're going to give yourself enough time from when you're planning to film, when you're filming, when you're editing, and when you're uploading. So it's got to be like a couple of days really. You also need to plan where you're going to film. Is it going to be like inside or outside? Is it going to be a little setup in your room? Is it going to be downstairs? Is it going to be in a public space? All of these things you have to think about so you can decide, do I need lighting and things like that, but we'll get onto that later. For this specific video, I also planned my outfits as well, and that's because that video had a lot of different outfits in it. However, I wouldn't normally do that really. So I plan out the structure of the video as well, because that's kind of important, just making sure you know the order that you're going to film in as well. I planned out the thumbnail for the video, and then I've basically got a whole bunch of pages on things that I had to film, and I highlight them as I go through so that I know when I filmed it, I've highlighted it and basically ticked it off. I also use this sometimes when I'm editing to help me like edit down certain clips. But this is an example of a video I really planned and like took a lot of time in planning, and I actually do think that this is probably one of my best videos on my channel, so it was worth it. So now I'm going to show you a video I planned for that has way less planning. So this was my plan for my summer night routine video, and as you can tell, it's nowhere near as detailed. It's really just nothing much. And all this is the video structure, which also works as a shot list, so I remember what to film and I can look and be like, did I film that? Oh yeah, I filmed that. And yeah, it's basically, the plan is basically just thinking about what do I want in the video, what's going to make the video a good video, and all of that jazz. So I think those are the main things to do with like planning your videos that you really need to know. And now let's go on to the next thing, which is filming. Okay, so when it comes to actually recording your video, there's three kind of parts of the recording that make it good or bad. So first you have the quality of the actual picture, so like the image that you see of me right now. The second thing is sound. Is it like clear? Can you hear me well? Or is it like background noise? Is it dodgy sound or anything like that? And the third thing is the lighting. So first let's talk about the actual recording. Literally most cameras nowadays are going to be really good quality and will be good enough for YouTube. I even sometimes will use my phone if I'm like vlogging in public. Sometimes I just use my phone instead of a camera and it looks fine. Especially if you can use the back camera on your phone, then that's even better quality than the front camera. And when I was on the SAK channels, I literally filmed with my phone for like the first year when I was on the channel, so it definitely is okay to film on your phone. And that's probably what I recommend if you're first starting out. Use a phone or an iPad to film, because you're most likely going to have one anyway and you're not buying it just for YouTube, because that's a bit excessive when you first start out. They have good sound quality and they have good picture quality. You can't really go wrong with using a phone when you first start YouTube. If you are filming with your phone, you can get these little phone adapters. So you put this on the tripod and then you put your phone in and then you can like tighten it so it holds your phone in place and your phone's not gonna fall off the tripod. But if you did want to spend some money and buy a camera, there's a couple of things I recommend, but it's literally different for everyone. So this camera's from Canon and it's called the G7X. And this is what loads and loads and loads and loads of like vloggers and YouTubers use this. Literally so many use this and they will tell you that they use it as well. It's really good because the screen comes up, so when you're holding it like this, you can see yourself in the screen and it's like easy to see, you know? It's also really light, so it's good for vlogging, it's good quality. Personally, I don't always like to use this camera. It's not my favorite, but it's really good and they're not as expensive as other cameras, although they're still kind of pricey. Another really good camera is the 700D by Canon, which is obviously a bit bigger. This is the camera I used for most of the time when I was on the SAK channels, and I filmed with this until I was on like 7 Perfect Angels at least. And it's really good, to be fair. The only thing is it is quite big, so you can't like switch and start vlogging or you're gonna like break your arm. Personally, I think it's probably a little bit extra. You don't really need a huge big camera with a huge big lens just for filming YouTube videos, but it's completely up to you. And the camera that I've got now, I will show you it in the mirror because, yeah. So this is the camera I've got now, and I think it's pretty much perfect because it's a little bit bigger than the G7X, but it's quite a lot smaller than the 700D. Screen comes out to the side, and it has really good video quality because it's 4K. Now let's talk about sound. There's not too much to say about this, but most phones are good enough recording. The only thing a bit annoying with sound sometimes is when you are using a big camera and you have the lens on autofocus, sometimes it makes noises. It's like, basically it makes noises when it's trying to focus and it's a bit annoying sometimes, but it's not too bad. And again, if you want to be a little bit extra, you can also get a microphone for the camera. I've got a microphone now, but I didn't for like 4 years or something. Especially if you're going to film outside in places where there's background noise, microphones are really handy. I will show you my microphone now. However, there's loads of different types, kind of an add-on that you can get, but it's not essential. So this is the microphone that I use. You may notice a difference in the sound quality because I've just took it off the camera. So there may be a difference, but maybe not, so hey. This is from Rode, and I think Rode actually has some really good microphones for cameras. And then it like sits on top of the camera. Let's put this on again and let's talk about lighting. So obviously you want good lighting in your video, and you can use artificial light like a ring light, which is what I use. However, it is absolutely fine just to use daylight in your videos, and most of the time daylight will be enough. So for example, sometimes when I'm filming an outro and I don't have my ring light at hand, I will film it by the window. So the window is here and I'm facing the window, so the light's going on my face. And if you can't film in daylight and you don't have a ring light or studio light, something like a light up mirror or any bright light will work equally as good. So this is my ring light right here. I use this all the time. It's just easy and it's really, really good. So as you can see, it lights up my face really well, but if I was to turn it off, not so good. I can't lie to you, I did actually break my ring light, so I don't have the protecting bit for the top half, and it can get quite hot, so you have to be a little bit careful. But I've tried lots of different types of lighting before. I've had the big box studio lights, and I've had the little light up studio lights, but the ring light is by far my favourite. And the last step in the process is editing your video. So I always get asked about how to edit and what apps to use, and honestly that could take up like a whole video or like multiple videos actually teaching you exactly how to edit. But I do have some app recommendations, and I think my #1 app I recommend would be iMovie. So basically iMovie, you can have it on your phone, you can have it on your iPad, you can have it on your laptop, which is really good because you can use it on any device. And a lot of YouTubers do use this app. The other app that everyone uses is Final Cut Pro, and I use Final Cut Pro because I bought it, so I may as well use it. But I don't think really it's worth your money to go from iMovie to Final Cut Pro. And when you're editing, honestly, I can't explain everything because I would be here for literally years trying to explain exactly how to edit. But there's a couple of things you need to think about, and that is basically having music in the video, because you're not allowed to use copyright music, so you can't use random music. But YouTube has a whole library of copyright free songs, and there's also like loads of other websites where you can get cool music like this. Or like this. Or like this. And you know what? There's some pretty good royalty-free music. There's also things like sound effects, which are totally optional and depends on your editing style. There's a whole load of different effects. I really like using a golf effect, so it's the sound of like hitting a golf ball, and I use that like this. But on iMovie or on Final Cut Pro, there's a whole album of those effects on there, or if not, again, you can just search for them online. And I think I have like 2 more editing tips, and that is transitions, so you can add the movements of the screens. It just makes it slightly more interesting, and it kind of gives the video a little bit more pace, if that makes sense. And the last thing is probably having a pace to the video. And what I mean by this is it's really, really easy sometimes. Say, for example, in a Q&A video, one question, I will answer it in like 10 seconds, and one question I will answer it in like 10 minutes. And in some videos that's okay, but in some videos it just kind of throws it all off. So you want to try and make sure there's some kind of structure with your like timing in the video. So that's everything I have to say about editing, and the last thing we're going to talk about is money. Because a lot of people think that you become a YouTuber overnight and then you're rich and famous, and it's like, I'm done, sister. And I constantly get told YouTube's not a real job, and it really, really annoys me. There is a couple of different ways you can earn money from doing YouTube, and it's pretty much the same with most social media. So the main way on YouTube is by your ad revenue. Basically, what this is when you can monetize your videos so that companies can put their ads on your videos and you get money from people seeing the ads. Literally every single YouTuber does this. All you have to have is like over, I think, 1,000 subscribers and a certain amount of watch time as well, which is how long people watch your channel for. I know that it's actually quite hard to reach the monetization like threshold. However, everyone gets there eventually. You just have to work hard. The only thing that I don't really like about monetization on YouTube is that it literally changes all the time. Like, it literally fluctuates left, right and center. But basically, once your video is uploaded and it has ads on it because you're a monetized channel, then somehow through YouTube, I'm not 100% sure how this works, but YouTube decides on a price point for the video. And this varies literally a ton with so many factors. But I think a roundabout example would be about £2. And that is £2 per 1,000 views. So if your video gets 1,000 views, then you get £2. If your video gets 2,000 views, you get £4. And obviously some people have huge numbers on their channel, like they're getting hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views, so you think, whoa, they're getting a lot of money. But not all of the views count towards this. It's very confusing and kind of annoying sometimes. However, it just kind of works out. But what I would say is that at this point in my YouTube, I feel like I get out what I put in, and I do put in a lot of effort. I work all the time on editing videos, filming videos and planning videos. Literally for the past 2 or so weeks, there's not been one single day where I wasn't filming or editing or uploading. And it is a lot of hard work because unlike most jobs where you're like, oh okay, it's 5 o'clock, I'm going home now, that doesn't happen, and it's just kind of a repeat of filming and editing. Especially editing is super hard, and sometimes it'll get to like 11 o'clock at night and I'm like, oh, I've not finished editing. But because I'm uploading the next day, it's not like, oh, I've not finished editing, bummer, guess I'll do some more tomorrow. It's like, oh, I've not finished editing, looks like I'm not going to sleep tonight. Which is probably a little bit unhealthy, but sleep is for the weak. The other ways you can make money is mainly by doing sponsorship and brand deals, by doing live streams where people can donate to you, and also kind of like merch. Although right now I'm working on merch, which I'm really excited about. But for me personally, that's not really about making money from merchandise because I want to give it the lowest price point possible for you guys. Although I'm sure some YouTubers do make merch with like the intent of it being their money source. And the final way is through sponsorships. And from my experience, it's kind of a on or off, like it's kind of unstable basically. But this is basically when someone wants you to include their product in your video and talk about it a little bit. Normally they do give you a couple of talking points for the video as well. So they'll say, oh, please can you include the website's link, and please could you include, oh, and tell them we have a sale on, and can you include that the products are vegan or something like that. And obviously if they've asked you to include that, you do have to include it. However, with sponsorships, I think it's so important to actually be truthful and not to promote something for money, because that's that's not fair. I personally would not promote a product if I didn't like the product or if I didn't think you guys were gonna like it. And I definitely wouldn't want to lie and make out that the product's better than it actually is, because that kind of ruins the whole point. And also the price that they're willing to pay normally just depends on the company. And if it's like a brand that you love and they're like, sorry, like we're on a tight budget, £10 or something, but you love the company, it's probably worth just doing it. But yeah, that is all about making moolah on YouTube. So guys, that was all of the tips I have for you with starting a YouTube channel or making your YouTube channel even better than it already is. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram. My Instagram is @els.exo. And if you enjoyed this video, I could try and do a part 2 where I tell you even more tips and tricks rather than just stating the facts on how to be a YouTuber, how to have a YouTube channel. But guys, if you're not already, then make sure to subscribe with the big red subscribe button. I'm trying to reach 500,000 followers by the end of the year, so please subscribe because it would really help my channel. You can also turn on all notifications with the notification bell icon so you don't miss any of my future videos. Stay up to date by following me on all of my social media accounts, which are linked in the description box below. Give this video a great big thumbs up. Let's try and get this video to 4,000 thumbs ups. That is the like goal for this video. And I think the only thing left to say is I love you a lotty, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!